This story will continue the story of the first Iron Man movie, right after Tony Stark publicly revealed to the public that he was the figure behind the Iron Man costume that had shocked the city. The story begins with the appearance of a man named Ivan Vanko, the son of a genius scientist named Anton Vanko, who turned out to be a co-worker of Tony Stark's father. Now, Anton lives in squalor and misery, far from the luxuries he once touched. In desperation, Anton declares that Ivan should be entitled to all the wealth and technology that Tony Stark now possesses. Unfortunately, all Anton could pass on was knowledge and scientific designs, not glory. After Anton's departure, Ivan immediately opens a printout of the ancient blueprints, old documents containing the energy reactor research that Anton and Tony's father had jointly developed. With a burning rage and a simmering grudge, Ivan sets out to get back at Tony, who he believes has usurped all of their family's property. 6 months passed. Ivan managed to transform the reactor design into a deadly electric whip. He also smuggled himself into a Formula One racing event, buying tickets illegally for one purpose only, to face Tony Stark in person, who was known to be attending the event. This is the uniqueness of our hero. Unlike other superheroes who tend to hide their identities and act in secret, Tony Stark comes across as confident and stylish. He even casually showed off his Iron Man armor in public, as we just witnessed. At the time, Tony was giving the opening speech at the annual Tech Expo, continuing the legacy of his father's event. But backstage, Tony was seen checking on his health, where the test results showed that his body was contaminated with toxins in his blood, a side effect of the arc reactor in his chest that uses the element palladium. The element was slowly poisoning his body. If this situation continues without a solution, then Tony's fate is inevitable. He will die from the metal poisoning.
Mr. Stark, could we pick up now where we left off? Mr. Stark, please.
Yes, dear.
Could I have your attention?
Absolutely.
Now, Tony is facing political pressure. He's been invited to an official meeting with state officials to determine whether the Iron Man armor should be privately owned or should be handed over to the state as part of the national defense system. The technology attached to the suit is no joke. It's not just a piece of equipment, but a high-tech weapon that could pose a threat if misused. To assess the potential danger of Iron Man's armor, the chairman of the meeting, a senator, brought in a weapons expert named Justin Hammer, owner of Hammer Industries, and Stark Industries' main competitor. Hammer, known as the government's strategic partner in military affairs, is clearly looking to bring Tony down.
Absolutely. I'm no expert. I defer to you, Anthony.
He even presented another surprising witness, Colonel James Rhodey Rhodes, Tony's close friend. But Tony didn't stay silent. With his high-tech tools, he easily hacks into the meeting screen and shows footage of some of Hammer Industries' failed weapons tests.
Justin, you're on TV. Focus. I have successfully privatized world peace.
The footage showed how flawed and dangerous Hammer's technology was compared to Iron Man's armor. No doubt, the senator and Justin Hammer were speechless, unable to refute the evidence displayed in front of the public eye. The tape humiliated Hammer in front of everyone present. Finally, reluctantly, the senator gave Tony permission to remain the official and rightful sole owner of the Iron Man suit.
You've been at the...
Wake up, Dad.
Welcome home, sir.
But despite the victory, Tony was still plagued by health problems. At home, he checked the level of toxins in his blood, which continued to rise day by day. He had to regularly replace the palladium element in his reactor to prevent his condition from worsening.
For the palladium core.
The next day, while Tony is boxing with Happy Hogan, his personal bodyguard, Pepper Potts, his loyal assistant, shows up with a new woman named Natalie Rushman. She was introduced as the lawyer appointed to handle the administrative process of transferring the company's ownership. Upon seeing Natalie, Tony, who is in his live-as-you-please phase, spontaneously offers her the position of personal assistant. But Pepper immediately rejected the idea. As a form of entertainment, Tony instead asks Natalie to get in the ring and spar against Happy, without expecting what surprises will come from this mysterious woman.
Potential candidates are lined up.
She's got everything that I need.
Rule number 1, never take your eye off your opponent.
Oh my God!
With one crushing blow from Natalie, Happy went down without a fight. It's clear from this that Natalie is no ordinary woman. She has a lot of fighting skills, and is clearly hiding something behind her elegant appearance.
I want one.
No.
Time rolls on until the day of the Formula One race in Monaco. Tony, who owns his own racing team, is there to witness the competition. The event was attended by many important figures and world celebrities, including Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, who appeared as himself.
Mr. Musk, how are you?
Congratulations on the promotion. I have an idea for an electric jet.
You do?
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
Not only Elon Musk, Justin Hammer was also present at the prestigious event, complete with his swagger. Meanwhile, on the sidelines of the crowd, Tony took the time to check the level of toxins in his body. The results were quite alarming. The level of toxins had reached 53%, a sign that his life would not be long if he continued to rely on palladium. Realizing that he might have little time left to live, Tony decided to enjoy the moment by attending a Formula One race live.
Any other bad ideas?
On the other hand, Ivan Vanko, who had previously prepared a high-voltage electric whip weapon, disguised himself as a race crew member. When the right time came, Ivan entered the track and started attacking, creating chaos in the middle of the originally peaceful race. Pepper Potts, seeing the precarious situation, immediately asked Happy to retrieve Tony's special suitcase containing portable armor. Wasting no time, Happy and Pepper entered the race area, cutting through the crowd to deliver the briefcase to Tony. After a tense chase, they managed to crash into Ivan, knocking him down for a moment. But as Ivan recovered and returned to attack with a powerful electric whip, Tony immediately asked Pepper to throw the briefcase containing the Iron Man costume at him. The suitcase instantly transforms into portable armor that automatically wraps around Tony's body. Although initially quite overwhelmed by the strong electric current from Ivan's whip, the Iron Man suit with an advanced hydraulic drive system proved to have far superior durability and strength. Thanks to this technological advantage, Tony finally managed to immobilize Ivan and end the brutal battle on the racetrack. After being defeated, Ivan Vanko was quickly thrown into prison, but that didn't stop Tony from meeting him in person. During the intense meeting, Ivan coldly accused Tony of being the scion of a family of thieves, claiming that Tony's father, Howard Stark, had stolen the tech designs from Anton Vanko, Ivan's own father. Ivan goes on to say that if someone manages to make a hero tainted with blood, then that hero will lose the trust of the public. He also claimed to have succeeded in damaging Tony Stark's image, and it was only a matter of time before someone else would attack him in a much more violent and deadly way. Tony's mind was full of anxiety after the meeting. He returned to the United States with a mental burden from Ivan's words that touched his weak spot. But Ivan was not behind bars for long. Surprisingly, someone helps him escape from prison, and without asking many questions, Ivan goes along with the mysterious plan. We are shocked to learn that the mastermind behind Ivan's rescue is Justin Hammer, Tony Stark's arch-rival in the military technology industry. Hammer, who witnessed Ivan's strength and resilience during a racing incident in Monaco, feels the Russian is a valuable asset. He then offers to work together, partnering Ivan on a secret project to create more cutting-edge weaponry and armor units, with the clear goal of defeating Iron Man and subverting Tony Stark's reputation.
The prototype in production Sumi. I'm enthusiastic. Go ahead, take a look around. Oh, you don't... Wow. Okay, 5.7 million a pop. So bang! Up in Tony's front yard.
I can do that.
Yeah?
No problem.
Hey, fabulous! I love it.
Meanwhile, Tony's condition worsens. The level of palladium poison in his blood has soared to 89%, and Ivan's words continue to haunt his mind, that his life will never be at peace, and his death is only a matter of time. Feeling that he didn't have much time left, Tony decided to throw a massive party at his house. In a drunken stupor, he even donned his Iron Man armor, and started acting out of control, endangering the guests. Pepper Potts tried to stop the chaos and asked Tony to end the crazy party. However, Tony continued to drown in euphoria and frustration. At that critical juncture, his longtime friend Colonel James "Rhodey" Rhodes, who also happened to be present, felt the need to do something before things got even more chaotic. Without hesitation, Rhodey entered the storage room and donned the Iron Man Mark II armor, one of the early versions of Tony's suit.
Get out.
There was a confrontation between the two friends, attacking each other with super advanced equipment that was originally designed to protect, not fight. In the chaos, Tony yells at Rhodes to take off his suit, but the fight is already on. Since both Tony and Rhodey were stubborn and unwilling to budge, they fired repulsor shots at each other. The resulting explosion from the collision of the two powerful energies created shockwaves that spread in all directions. After the incident, Rhodey, who was still wearing the Mark II armor, decided to bring the suit back to the military base. Meanwhile, Tony, physically and mentally exhausted, chose to calm down while sitting on top of a donut shop, trying to escape the chaos of his life. It is there that he is visited by the authoritative, one-eyed Nick Fury, the director of the secret organization S.H.I.E.L.D., known for recruiting people with extraordinary abilities from all over the world. Not only that, Natalie Rushman, who has been known as Tony's new assistant, turns out to be a secret agent assigned by Nick Fury to secretly monitor Tony. Even Agent Coulson, who appeared in the first Iron Man movie, was also under Nick Fury's direct orders on the same mission. Fury's arrival this time comes with an important mission. He delivers a legacy of messages from the late Howard Stark, Tony's father, that can only be accessed when Tony is old enough to understand them. The inherited items consist of old documents, blueprints, and a videotape of a young Howard Stark speaking. In the footage, Howard explains the concept of a new element, capable of creating a clean and nearly limitless source of energy. Just imagine, nuclear-equivalent power packed into a size as small as a TV remote, battery light, efficient, and incredibly powerful. However, the element could not be created in his day due to technological limitations. Howard says that Tony's current mini-arc reactor is revolutionary, but still imperfect, mainly because it uses palladium, which is toxic to Tony's body because it generates excessive heat. In other words, his father's message was an encouragement to keep improving, so that Tony would not be complacent about his achievements, and one day be able to perfect the technology with new elements. Although his father's message was meaningful, Tony didn't fully understand what the new element meant. He decides to meet Pepper Potts at his company office, to apologize for his inappropriate behavior at the party. After that, Tony saw a miniature of his late father's futuristic city plan, a small replica that was once only considered a sentimental item. But this time, Tony felt there was more to it than just a display. He took the miniature home and turned it into a three-dimensional holographic display, making it easier to study in detail. Tony began to believe that the city's design held important clues to new, undiscovered elements, but the technological constraints of Howard's time meant that the plan could not be realized. The task now falls to Tony Stark, who must continue in his father's footsteps and perfect what was once only a dream. Due to the technological limitations of his time, Tony's father, Howard Stark, was never really able to realize the new elements he envisioned. However, after observing his father's miniature city and discarding elements that were deemed unnecessary, Tony realized that the city's design was not just another architectural design, but a representation of the atomic structure of the new elements that his father had always intended. With the help of his artificial intelligence assistant, Jarvis, Tony began to perform complex calculations and simulations to realize the element. He quickly ordered a variety of experimental equipment, including a large coil of pipe, and even demolished part of the wall of his house to make room for the makeshift laboratory. In the midst of his busy schedule, Agent Coulson returned this time to say goodbye. He had previously been assigned by Nick Fury to keep a close eye on Tony, but now had a new mission, to go to New Mexico, where an alien object from another dimension had been found. Before Coulson leaves, Tony asks for his help in retrieving an antique shield-shaped wall clock with a star in the center, which coincidentally resembles Captain America's shield, to use as a temporary prop in his coil pipe experiment.
Drop it.
The experiment began. Tony was hopeful that if this new element was successfully created, the threat of blood poisoning caused by the palladium in his old reactor would be resolved. Thanks to a genius combination of Jarvis' intelligence and his own brain, Tony finally managed to perfect the invention.
Approaching maximum power.
He named the new element Vibranium, a material with incredible energy, durability, and the ability to replace palladium as a clean power source in his arc reactor.
You want to run some tests?
As soon as Justin Hammer left the scene, Ivan Vanko removed the two remaining guards and called Tony to tell him that his revenge plan was about to begin. It didn't take long for Tony to trace the call, and it turned out that the origin of the signal came from Justin Hammer's own headquarters. That's when Tony realized that the Stark Expo event that was about to begin was about to turn into a major disaster. Unfortunately, it was too late. Tony didn't have time to warn Pepper, Hammer, or the other invited guests. On the main stage, Hammer has opened the event with confidence, introducing his array of combat robots that have actually been reprogrammed by Ivan.
Force Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes.
What they don't know, however, is that all the robots, including Rhodes' armor, are completely under Ivan's control via his remote control system. When Tony finally arrived on the scene, it was too late. Ivan had activated his full control, and Rhodes could no longer control his own armor.
No, I'm not doing that. That's not me.
Instead, his armor turned on Tony, flying blindly through the air, trying to take down his old friend. Meanwhile, Justin Hammer was in a panic. All the robots he's proud of are now turning on the audience. Backstage, Pepper and Natasha Romanoff, Natalie, urged Hammer to speak the truth. Pressured, Hammer finally admits everything. Wasting no time, Natasha, who has now donned her SHIELD agent costume, immediately acts fast and immobilizes all the guards to find Ivan.
I got him!
Realizing that his existence will soon be revealed, Ivan activates his own armor and escapes.
He's gone.
Back in the city center, Tony is still being chased by War Machine and other fighting robots. A fierce battle ensued and they eventually landed in the middle of the city park, creating a huge mess. On the other side, Natasha and Happy Hogan managed to infiltrate the main computer room and began manually disabling Hammer robots one by one, starting with Rhodes' armor. Once Rhodes regained control of his armor, he immediately rejoined Tony. However, the problem wasn't over yet. The other active robots kept coming and attacking them relentlessly. Pressured and surrounded from all directions, Tony finally used his ultimate weapon, a single-use cutting laser, capable of wiping out all enemies in one fell swoop. Before firing it, Tony told Rhodes to duck, and in an instant, all the enemy robots were destroyed.
Get down!
Heads up, you got one more drone incoming.
The The climactic battle begins when Ivan Vanko appears in his self-made armor, complete with his signature weapon, a high-powered electric whip. Ivan challenged Tony to stand down and let him face the fight head-on. Rhodes tried to help by using Hammer's signature ex-wife weapon, but it failed miserably. As usual, the fight was intense. Tony and Rhodes were beaten to a pulp by Ivan, who commanded the battlefield with his technological superiority. As the two were nearly helpless, trapped in the coils of Ivan's electric whip, Tony suddenly remembered one thing, a moment when he and Rhodes had combined their repulsor fire to create a lateral energy blast. They were using that strategy again.
Put your hands up! This ready, go!
The combination of their repulsors resulted in a massive explosion that shattered Ivan's armor, and the fight seemed to be over. But as it turned out, Ivan hadn't given up yet. He had prepared a final surprise in the form of an automatic explosive system installed in every robot created by Hammer. Realizing that Pepper was in danger, Tony immediately flew as fast as he could to save the life of the woman he loved. He managed to pull Pepper out just before a huge explosion destroyed the location. A few days after the incident, Tony met again with Nick Fury, who gave a final evaluation of Tony's suitability to join the superhero initiative known as the Avengers. Based on psychological and personality reports, Tony was judged to be narcissistic, emotionally unstable, prone to indiscipline, and too fond of acting alone. Because of this, Tony Stark aka Iron Man is placed as a backup option, to be called upon only in case of emergency.
You can't afford me.
The story then moves to the barren desert of New Mexico, where Agent Coulson has arrived to investigate a mysterious phenomenon, a large metallic object falling from the sky. As it turns out, it's a hammer, and no one can lift it. An early clue to another big story. On behalf of the entire team, I would like to thank you for being a part of this story. See you in the next video.